Welcome back to Sunday AM. For most of us, PRSI is a nasty deduction seen at the side of a paycheck. But did you know that it actually entitles you to a whole range of benefits?
And here to educate us this morning is the money doctor, John Lowe. John, you're very welcome
Morning,
this
John.
morning.
Good morning.
Who should be listening up in the next 10 minutes or so? Who does this concern?
Well, anybody
everybody?
between the age of 16 and 66. Once you're over 66, you don't pay it. Under 16, you don't work.
OK. Can we go back to basics? What is PRSI? What's it stand for?
It's pay-related social insurance, and it's effectively a tax taken off your salary. Most people there are 11 classes of payers, and you're talking about the main majority of them are in Class A. So you're paying 4% out of your weekly or your monthly salary, while the employer actually pays 10.75%. And that's why a lot of employers love to see self-employed people come along, because then they don't have to pay that 10.75.
There is an element of topicality about this at the moment in terms of who's entitled to it, because the self-employed are now included. Is that right, John?
Well, there's a thing called the benefit treatment scheme, and last March, and as part of the budget from the previous October, they've included now self-employed to be able to avail of these benefits. Now, there's 13 different benefits that you can avail of if you're paying your PRSI, and now the self-employed are now part of that. They were precluded up to this point.
Can you take us through some of the benefits then?
Yeah, like for instance, the state pension, for instance, is €238.30. So that's per week. And there's lots of, it's hugely complicated. I mean, even paying, for instance, the 4%, there is just to give you an idea how crazy it is, there's a credit, a PRSI credit. Now, between €352.01 and 424 euros. That's the mark. And that's only like 424 euros a week is 22,048. Now, I'm hitting you a lot of figures, OK? So the PRSI credit is 12 euros per week. Now, that 12 euros is deducted by 1/6 of the differential between the 352.01 and whatever you're on up to 424. It's hugely complicated, honestly.
You lost me at the first edition.
I know. So I don't know why they bring these rules in, but anyway, it's a lot of these benefits anyway are really good. For instance, there's an adoptive benefit. There's a lot of viewers now who'll be watching this who are thinking of adopting children, and maybe they don't realise that you can get 24 weeks of a payment, the same as a maternity benefit. So it's €235 a week. And you get it for 24 weeks. And you still also, by the way, if you adopt a child, you can still opt to have a 16-week unpaid.
There's lots of other benefits there that people may not be aware of. We're seeing dental benefit, optical benefit, hearing aids.
Yeah, that's part of this treatment benefit scheme. And the dental benefit, for instance, is once a year you get an oral examination. As far as, for instance, the vision or the eyesight test, you get one free eyesight test a year. And also, if you get medication or you get a medical note, you can get a lens up to €500. And then finally, the hearing aids. What did you say? The hearing aids is actually, again, up to €500, again, on medication.
The big thing with these, though, John, is people kind of go, well, I could be entitled to that. How do people avail of them? Say the dental benefit or the optical benefit. Is it a case of going to their dentist and say, look, what am I entitled to?
Well, the first thing is that they have to be paying PRSI. So if you're not paying PRSI, you can't avail of anything. Welfare.ie is one of is the main website that you can get access to, because all these different things, you've got a whole raft of from invalidity benefits, carers benefits, occupational injuries.
And John,
benefits.
do you have to be paying PRSI for a certain amount of time?
Yes, you do.
Maternity benefit,
yeah,
for years
and again,
ago, I remember
it's hugely complicated. It's like 260, usually 5 years is the norm, and you have to have a certain number in a particular year, like 39 stamps of the 52. So it is complicated. I think they put it out there just to confuse us.
And the big thing there would be for, say, younger people who finish college and maybe wanting to get social welfare.
Yeah.
Would they need to have paid contributions before they avail?
No, the job seekers allowance is not part of this as such, because it's an entitlement.
Yeah.
But what I would do is look up welfare.ie and go to your tax office. Actually, they're very friendly in the tax office, believe it or not. Yeah, they are, honestly, and they are helpful. I've always found them helpful, and it'll also then give you an opportunity to say, what am I going to be paying now for the next 20, 30, 40
Just getting
years.
back then to as to how you avail of these benefits. Take the dental one, okay? So is it a case every dentist in Ireland says, look, you have to give me this?
No. The private dentists would probably, pull their hair out if they had any left hair. But no, it's a question of you get a list from, the welfare office of those who are in the scheme. And the same with the eyesight test. I mean, there are some private opticians, for instance, who would be charging the earth.
Yeah.
To get their eyesight
John, I was
tested.
at the opticians and the dentist recently enough,
Yeah.
and both of them, I was quite surprised, both asked me for my PRSI number, which was super. So I was entitled to the benefits
fantastic.
as a result.
Yeah.
But had they not suggested it, I wouldn't have thought of it myself to offer up my number.
Well, there's also, you can claim some of that as well on the Med 2 form, for instance, for dental. That's another thing as well that a lot of people don't realise. You can go back 4 years to claim back tax that you forgot.
Okay.
Like, even your AVCs, your additional voluntary contribution for pensions, or your any, not just dental, but maybe medical. You've gone to the doctor and you've had maybe 30 visits in 2 years and you forgot to put in the claim. Yeah. You can go back 4 years.
Can you?
Yeah.
Runs home and gets receipts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, checks all the boxes. The big thing about all this is finding out what you're entitled to. And I always think it's so up to yourself. Nobody's going to knock on you on the door and say, "Oh, did you know you're entitled
Here's
to
some money."
these tax release or these benefits, etc." So get online and get the information.
Well, I will say this: that there are a couple of companies out there who will do that work for you on a no phone, no fee basis. So, in other words, if you've had, say, 4 years and you haven't claimed. I mean, I remember doing a pension for a gentleman, and after 2 years, he said, "Look, I haven't gotten any relief." I said, "Well, you would have got a certificate from the insurance company to say that you've got this amount, tax relief. What do you do with it?" "I filed it away," he said. Well, I said, "You need to get that." And he can go back now 2 years. So he'll get all that tax relief back. But these two companies, in particular in Ireland, who specialise in claiming back tax on behalf of clients, you're talking about taxback.com, you've probably heard of them, and Red Oak taxrefunds.ie.
Can you go to the money doctor on PRSI? No.
Well, you can talk to me at any time. I'll be delighted.
Great. You hang around later then.
Yeah.
Got loads of
I'm off to get my teeth cleaned anyway. John, great stuff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
John.
Laura.